Let's talk about double standard. That's open. Shit. Let's talk about double standards, guys, and the hypocrisy of a certain demographic of people. I made a video yesterday about the Pope, and I did not think I'd be talking about it again at any point after that. It was a quick video of me enjoying the bells that were ringing out in Ireland. Then I got on to X, where as usual you have the right and the left. The right wanted a real Catholic this time as Pope. The left wanted seemingly anyone that was checks notes POC. They wanted that. The first Filipino Pope, someone who was kind to the gays, is another one. I don't know. They wanted something that they could label as like, oh look, this is historic. The usual. Here's the thing. That's exactly what they got. Pope Leo is the first American Pope, but it hasn't went down too well. So to kick things off, we have this guy who queries, is this the other left-leaning candidate, right? I don't mind if he wins, as if it's American Idol or something. But I think having a POC as the Pope would be nice. I don't know. It's as if they're shopping for a blouse to wear to a springtime fucking dance, and it's like, should I get the yellow one, or I think the pink would be nice, I don't know. They want a POC, it would be nice. What do you mean it would be nice? So I'm of the opinion, as I know most people are, of electing people or appointing people, hiring people based on merit, not skin colour or where they're from. That seems fair to me. That's how things have been done for a very, very long time, until recently. We didn't get a female president, so let's have a person of colour. Even that, if I'm going to be really technical here, isn't that a racist term? Person of color. I give it a year before that there's called racist. It just sounds odd because it implies, I think it implies, I'm gonna sound like I'm too far gone here, but it implies, I think, person of color, that the default setting is white. Does it not? Fast forward a few hours later, we get the first American Pope, and thus begins the onslaught of the reactions, the overreactions, I may add. An American Pope is the worst thing that could have happened. Americans were never meant to be Pope. This is all fucked. An American Pope is an apocalypse indicator. Why would you elect an American? Pros of an American Pope: living outside of America for a decade, didn't speak in English, Peru citizenship, neutral stance, supposedly anti-Trump. These are people who call anyone who disagrees with them a bigot, by the way. Cons: he's American, poor management of SA cases within the church, haven't they all? He's American, neutral stance. So, you're getting to see the picture here. This is ungodly. You can't be American born and close to God. And then this girl here is grieving the loss of what could have been, but not as much as Pop Crave, who wanted one so badly because he was progressive and Filipino. That's it. That's all it takes, just to be Filipino. It's the naivety, the insanity of it all. And it is the fucking crux of the matter is it is racist in itself. It's just racist. I'm not American. Why is it so normalized to make fun of that particular country? I get that they have their quirks, but hasn't everybody? If a Filipino Pope was elected and the right were writing these tweets about Filipinos, these fucking idiots would be outraged. The media would be outraged. It would be front page papers all day long about how the far right are going to rally against the new Pope. But these clowns, and I know they're no threat to anyone, they're Gen Z fucking losers who haven't left the house since 2019 because of their fucking social anxiety. They can't even order a Subway. But the problem is, it's so normalized. It's such a joke. I would hesitate, me who's all about free speech and whatever, I would hesitate to write some of this. And I hope you notice the theme that all these accounts, all of them pretty much, are fronted by anonymous clowns who hide behind anime profile pictures and cartoons and whatever. It's always the same. On woke opinion, popes shouldn't be American, a Filipino or an Italian pope, but we're stuck with an American pope who, by the way, is young and pope years. If they had were these people not the ones campaigning for a younger president last year? So if they had a young pope, that would be glorious, and oh look how radical this is, the church is changing. But because it's an American pope, no, fuck him. So suddenly we don't care. We could have had a Filipino or an Italian pope. We've had an Italian pope many times before. So I might have taken it now that suddenly diversity, inclusion and representation doesn't matter so long as you're not a POC or an Italian or a Filipino. It's insane. I'm assuming you're smart enough to know where I'm coming from here, so I'm cautious of how long to keep going on about this, because I hope you get my point by now. But it's just the fact that no one else seems to call this out. An American in this claimant, are we fucking serious? I'm not even Catholic, but seriously, an American Pope? Get that dude out of there. Cry, cry. Not even joking when I say that an atheist Filipino is likely to be more Catholic than your average American Catholic. Okay, Hannah. I don't think we should let Americans be popes. Could you imagine I wrote a tweet saying, I don't think we should let women drive. Just something as simple as that. This random woman would be leading the fucking mob with pitchforks. Oh, he's homophobic, forget it. This is a whole other element. So like I said, the whole American Idol aspect of it, where like these accounts, some of these ex-accounts where they're just all about pop culture really. And they just want to jump on the latest thing. Eurovision isn't on at the minute. So it's like, okay, Pope Idol. So that obviously attracts a certain demographic of, yes, Queen Slay. is what it is. We should be welcoming and accepting of people who want to have an interest in whatever current events, I guess. Especially people who usually would only really care if something involved Rihanna or Beyonce. So I think it's actually quite a good thing. However, I wouldn't go into someone's house and expect them to rearrange the furniture to suit me. It would be like me walking into the Ginger Appreciation Society and being like, hey guys, how about we get some photos of man buns up on the wall just so I can feel included? And I think in a society now that's so wide and has so many nooks and crannies and corners for everyone to go, there's no need to try and make everyone conform to make you feel special and included. Just doesn't need to be. They just do what I do and go, okay, that's not my thing, see you. So I don't really know what these people who, after following the race, would you call it that? The conclave, whatever, after following it for so long and they got so invested as if it was American Idol, then they're like, oh, they're homophobic. What do you, I don't think, they're just, the gays aren't on the radar. It's just not relevant, is it? You know, so I don't know what the fuck they were expecting, basically. Because then we go back to ladies like Molly here, who wrote, they're going to put a McDonald's in the Vatican, haha. Maybe I could even allow myself to laugh at that. The problem is once you're in tune to the double standards and the fact that no one ever calls them out, I look at that and I just kind of go, okay, so the following tweet is, it should have been you, and that's aimed at the Filipino guy. So say it was him, okay? And say I put myself in the mind of some small-minded little racist who looks at a Filipino guy and immediately assumes, oh, Chinese. There's people like that out there, okay? So the Filipino guy had one, and I wrote a tweet, or anyone else wrote a tweet, saying, oh, shit, they're going to start selling Chinese takeout in the Vatican now. How do you think that would go down? Do you think people would be replying like the Art of Molly going, haha, slay queen and all this bullshit? No, they would be calling for fucking blood. So it's a bit ironic and just absolutely tiresome to see these fucking same double standards from the same group of people who claim to be progressive, want the first of everything, the first black this, the first gay that, the first woman this. But when you get the first American Pope, they can't just go, okay, fair enough. That, I mean, it's not what we wanted, but then get our little pet. That's what it is. You know, they want a pet. We didn't get our little pet. POC, but at least, you know, it's good for the Americans. No, because half of these guys probably are American and they're the most nihilistic, self-loathing, miserable people on the planet. Another girl, body of Christ, and it's a Big Mac. This is so bad. It writes itself, doesn't it? And I think Twitter X is it's a circle jerk of people. It is, no matter what part of it you're on, everyone wants to be validated and, you know, they'll say just something just to get the likes and attention. You know this, okay? Social media is like that in general. But because this is so normalized, I hate that word, but because it's so normalized, they write this shit, just throwing shit at the wall, saying what sticks. As long as they have anti-American sentiment in there somewhere or anti-white man in there somewhere, then it's, oh, I'm sure this will slap. And I just don't know why the fuck we let it slap. So we'll end all this by coming right back home to the guy we started on to begin with. Aaron, his name is. And I'll try and take usernames out of this as much as possible. I'm not in the business of doxing anybody, alright? But Aaron wrote, but he's from what I gather, he's a pretty busy account, so I'm sure he won't mind. But he started this whole video with his hopes of a Filipino Pope. Now here we are, a full 24 hours later, with we could have had an Asian, left-leaning, silly Pope who doesn't hate the LGBTQ plus community. Could you've? Who do they think they're trying to please? The Catholic Church, that is. As I say, everyone has their own spaces. If I went to some drag night thing and was like, I think you guys should actually start take down all the rainbow stuff and get some, I don't know, get some tits up in the wall, they'd be like, that's not our thing, man. And I'd have to go, fair enough, because it's not their fucking thing. And I'm not saying this is some kind of religious nut job that's like, oh, keep the gays out. I get along more with gays than I do with religious people, but I don't really understand this fucking insistent whining from the left in general, which I was once firmly a part of, from them in general, of wanting everything to be a landmark moment and we got our first this, and then when they actually get it, they just show themselves up as being xenophobic at worst and racist at best. I use the word racist really lightly there, but I guess it kind of is. It's definitely xenophobic against Americans, 100%. But it's absolutely racist, and I don't know if they mean this, but it absolutely is racist in the sense that they treat, and I alluded to this earlier, they treat Asian people, black people, gay people, they treat women, they treat them as fucking little pets, little lab rats. They can never get past on their own merit. When someone wins an award now, it's like, oh, they're the first gay drag, whatever, and it's like, let them just get by, as they very well could. Let them get by on their own merit, their own achievement, whatever the fuck they've done in their role or in their life to get to that point, rather than just shoehorning it with, oh, but, you know, we can put this little buzzword on them, so now that makes it special. It's special anyway. It's an American Pope. Is it special? I don't really give a shit. I don't give a shit. And a week from now, neither will you. But what I do give a shit about is the hypocrisy. If I belong to a minority group and I saw this, I would be outraged. And that's why I call it racist as well as xenophobic, because to constantly baby these groups and just want them to succeed just because of how they were born is, to me, as bad, absolutely as bad, as wanting someone to fail or not do well in life or not have opportunities because of how they were born. Both of those things are fucking abhorrent. So I would just say to those people, not that they're watching this because they can never watch or listen to anyone who disagrees with them, but I would just say to them to fucking be careful about the slope that they're on, because I like to think it's not just me out there that can see this for what it is. And it is blatantly, absolutely, 100% xenophobia against Americans, 100% pure hatred against Americans, who, like I said, have their flaws, but do they deserve to have every fucking achievement they get be pulled down by, oh, but they're from that place, oh, but they're American? You wouldn't do that to any other country or any other people. Is it any wonder why they elect Trump again? Is it any wonder why they don't listen and they reject all this bullshit? So this is their attempt to fight fire with fire. Good luck. Anyway, guys, stay sovereign. Take it easy. I'm on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, whatever, but follow me as well on X. You can help balance out that algorithm because the timeline is just full of those fucking morons. But until next time, stay sovereign. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.